Here we go. 17. Quanta. The amount which Socrates tolerated with a fair mind, a calm mind, the intractable character, ingenium, of his wife. So how much he tolerated it. And in which was, inibi means in that which Marcus Varro, is Marcus or it's M. Varro, in a certain satire, he had scripturated. He had written concerning the officio maritae, the duty of a husband. And that's the intro. 1. Xanthippe, the uxor, in her position, the wife of the philosopher Socrates, was morose, ad modum, fully, furtur fuisi, she is said to have been, and Eugosia, very quarrelsome, of anger. We've got molestarium, these are genitives, and through diem and per noctem, through day and night, she's scatterbatted. She bubbled up with all sorts of molubrium. It's usually a married woman, and so molesting is troubles. So she was always bubbling up all these troubles of women, and she liked to fight with him, it looks like. Has ears intemperies. These intemperies of hers, Alcibiades, in maritum, in the accusative, towards her husband. Alcibiades de Maratus, he was a bit marvelled, he was wondering why were these intemperaments. He interrogated Socrates. What was this ratio? What is this reason why a mulia, a wife, so acerbam, so bitter, he didn't exere it from the domo, he didn't chuck her out of the house? 3. Quoniam, since, inquit Socrates, said Socrates, when I perpetuo, when I suffer thoroughly, talem, such a woman as this, domi at home, insuesco, I grow accustomed, and I exercise myself, exerceo, so that for us, when I'm outdoors, outside, quoque also, the petulance of others, setororum, and the petulance and the injuries or the insults, facilius, more easily, ferem, I can bear. 4. Secundum hanc sententia, following this sentiment or viewpoint, also M. Varro, in the Sator Manipia, which we saw in the intro, which he had scripturated, which he had written, called the duty of a husband. The vitium, the fault, he said, of an uxor, of a wife, either tollendum, this is the gerund, or forendum est. It either needs to be removed, tollendum, or forendum, or put up with, or bore. Qui who tollets, he who takes away this vitium, this fault, he presents an uxor commodiorum, a more presentable woman or a more convenient or suitable wife, and he who furts it, he who bears it, bores it, put up, he makes, say himself melior, he makes himself better if he can tolerate it. 5. Haec verba, these words, or varo, or waro if you like to use V's with a W, to tolerate and to ferre and to bear or suffer, these are lepide, charmingly indeed composited or composed. But tolerate, apparently, is a dictum, a word used pro corruge in place of correct. So he's saying you're correcting your wife, not actually removing her. 6. Id etiam apparent, this is also apparent, that a vitium of this type is modo of a wife, some fault of the wife, if it is not able to be corrected, it must be bore, forendum. Varro sensuisi, this is what Varro thought. Quod, that scilicet, obviously, if one is able, potest, to bear this by an honest man, by a man, is more honester. For vitia, for faults, or levior, they are lighter than flagatis, than disgraces, or crimes you might want to say. So try and correct your wife. If you can't, then bear them, because at least this is honourable, because having a few faults is not really that disgraceful or a crime. And that's 17, so we're going to 18. Quod, M. Varro. So because of that, Varro, in his Quarto Decimo, in his 14th book of Humanarums, of humans, something to do with humans, his magistrum, his teacher El Alium, reprehended him. So he reprehended his teacher Elalium in a false etymology. Some history of the word or how the word comes about. Quodque, and that same Varro in Eadem Libro, in the same book, he himself used a false etymology of the word furus. That's the genitive singular of fur, and we'll italics that. In XIV, in the 14th book, there's Libro for book, of divine rerum, of divine matters, Varro, the nominative, doing something to the doctissimum, the most learned men, hominem, then of that civilization or city, he showed El Alium, he's the learned man, that to have erred, that vetus voculum Graecum, an old Greek word, was traductum into the linguam Romanum, it was led into the Roman language, proindi, just as if Atticae, there's another Atticae with a consonant, just as if from the beginning, primitus fictum, it had been made in the Latin language. He resolved it or showed that in voices Latin by the reason that this was a false etymology. Okay, so he's pointed out this particular word, and we're going to see what it is probably. 2. The verba ipsa, the words themselves, superior in this matter, posumus, we're placing or I'm placing here, re in this matter of Varro, in his own words, in his quote, in quo el alias noster, so in which our alias, the most ornatissimus, the most decorated in our memory, or my memory, of letters, so he's very adorned in letters, very learned, he aliquotens, he would sometimes error, he sometimes erred. Nam aliquot's indeclinable. For some of the Greek words of antique time, of old Greek words, just as if they were propria to us, as if they were our own, he has rendered them with false origins or causes. Enem, for non-dicamus, we don't say leporem, that's the accusative of a leap or of a hair, because it is levy pipes, pes peds, its feet, light of foot, as he says, but because it is an anticum vocabulum Graecum, because it's an old Greek word. Okay, so it doesn't come from light-footed, its origin is Greek. Multa vetra, many old words, illorum of those are ignoranta, they're unknown or not used, because pro these, they use nunc now, so in modern times they use other vocabularies. So they had old words and they're unknown because now they use different ones, and of course they have daily commerce with the Greeks, so they know what they use now. And of these, pluriqui generally ignorant, is unknown, that the word Greek, now they use Helena, which apparently means putium, it's the well. Okay. So in the Lobe, these here are written in Greek, but in the Latin library they transliterated into Latin letters. So putium for Helena, which is well, which they call a fria, is a lepo, which is a hare, and what they call a lagoon. Okay, in which not only do I not reprehend the ingenium, the character or abilities of El Alias, but his industry, his purpose and busyness, etc., I laudo, I praise. Successum annum fert fortuna. For fortune bears success, brings success, and laws praise, sequitur follows experientium, testing and experience and learnedness. 3. Varro says, Hake, these things he has written in Primor Libro, in his first book. Concerning the reasoning or the rationale of words, he is very scitissime, he is very understanding, is very learned. Concerning the use of both tongues, Greek and Latin, he is peritissime, he is very experienced. And concerning El Aulus himself, who was this other guy's teacher, he is very clement towards, he's very kind towards this Aulus fella. And here he is in the ablative with the preposition de. But in the posterior part, the end part of the same book, Eastem book, He says it is from the dictum, from the word for, again, thief, what the old Romans, the Veteres Romans, appella verented, they called them fervum because of atrum, which is black, and furs, thieves, through the night, which is black, most easily, facilius conferenta, they can thieve most easily when it's black at night. 5. Nonne, surely it is seen thus that Varro concerning fur, just as Aulus was concerning lepor. That's the way it is thus. For what by the Greeks now is called a kleptes, they have klepo in Latin as well. Klepo is a thief as well. The Antiqui, or in ancient Greece, in the ancient Greek tongue, this was called a for, and I guess the ph becomes f of fur, the thief. Hinc. This through the affinitem of letters, through the similarness of letters or the affinities, how they get on together, which in Greek is called for, est in Latin called fur. But this matter, here's a knave for question, if this had fled then from the memory of Varro, or contrarily, it was more aptius and more coherentius, he thought that fur come from furvo, this is negro, black, to be called. And in this ray, and in this matter, de viro, concerning a man so excellent of doctrine, it is not my place to make a judgment a judicium. And that's it for the day. You can choose your own daily dictionary word.